KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. You ready?
It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
Inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. Happy birthday, Deborah Cox. Now, I don't know where you got that one from, Andy. That was pretty good. That was nice. That's my girl, too. If you are listening to that jamming music right there, that is courtesy of Andy. He's all net, Andy, all net. A plus, DJ A plus. Okay, all right, there we go. Settle down. Yeah, happy birthday to Deborah Cox. The fun fact is, okay, so remember I told you I auditioned for American Idol. It was a Deborah Cox song. Which one? I don't know, Andy. It's been a long day. I can't really remember what's going on. I don't know if he believes me or not. Well, happy Thursday to all of you. I can't begin to tell you, okay, how long and how interesting of a day it has been, but I'm happy to be here with you guys on this Thursday. It has been great. The energy is still great no matter what. I'm always going to come in here and have great energy because it is a blessing to be here with you guys. If you want to chime in on today's conversation, you can do that by calling 1-800-920-1580. You could also join us. Hello, Penny Thompson over on YouTube. You can join us over there and join Penny Thompson on YouTube at KBLA 1580 right now. You can also leave an open mic note on our KBLA 1580 app. That's always fun. I check those. I check them personally, and I hear you guys sometimes, and sometimes you just want to say, hey. Other times you have a point, and we like it when you do that. So make sure that you are following us. Make sure you're following me at Robin Ayers. It's just a good idea to do that. So go ahead and make sure you do that as well. Yeah, you know what? I was out of town. I forgot to tell y'all I was out of town. My bad. But Avi held it down for me. Shout out to Avi Bernard. If you listen to him on Fridays covering Areva Martin in real time, then you know Avi is the truth. Avi is so good at what he does. And it was a pleasure to have him sit in for me yesterday. So I definitely appreciate him for that. And today is interesting. But let me give you the background real quick. My mom is in town, guys. Deborah Chikoa. Yay! Shout out to Mom. She's in town, and we had ourselves a good time. That's why I was off yesterday. We went to visit other family members up north in the Bay Area. That was fun. But it was a turnaround. It was a quick turnaround. And y'all will never guess what happened to me. I'm going to tell my business. I'm going to tell it myself just because, you know, if I can laugh at it, you should be able to laugh at it. Well, I left my purse up in Oakland. I left my purse up in Oakland at the airport. But luckily, all was well. And they found it, and they are shipping it to me. So all is well on my end of things. So just thought you should know. Let's get you some updates and talk about some of the things that are going on. There's a lot that's been happening that I've been paying attention to in between time. As you know, the writer's strike, it keeps getting, I feel like heavier and heavier. From what we hear, the Hollywood studios are reportedly trying to drain the writers of their financial resources before resuming negotiations. It's cold. I mean, it's a cold world. I guess everybody wants to look out for their own interests. But this is really affecting a lot going on in the industry. I actually I was talking earlier, I was just saying how some of the actors and writers, they can't even have appearances and shows and things like that during this strike. So it's affecting all of us essentially, which is, really unfortunate. So I stand with the writers. I stand with the actors as well. As you know, I mentioned recently how they're showing off their paychecks. They're getting these royalty checks that are literally pennies or dollars. So they're asking for money, for more money. They're asking for fairness. And we stand with them on that. So we're going to talk about the Emmys today. We are talking about that. But Jasmine Guy, who was Whitley on A Different World. Jasmine Guy earned her very first Emmy nomination. This is really great for her. We'll talk about some others as well. And Tina, we also mentioned this the other day. Tina Knowles, possibly Lawson still, and Richard Lawson, if you know, Tina Knowles is Beyonce and Solange's mom. And Jill and I, our entertainment contributor, we said that there were reports and rumors circulating that her and Richard Lawson have broken up. Well, now the story is really kind of coming out a little bit more. It's sad. I mean, no matter what, y'all know I love love. So I'm always rooting for people to make it in their relationships, but it's very possible that they have reportedly split quietly. She's even removed the name Lawson from her last name on one of her social media platforms. So we'll keep our eye out on it. I don't know if it's any of our business personally, but they are public figures. So the fact that they are in the public and maybe this news comes out, we will talk about it and, hopefully there can be some reconciliation. We don't know. We'll see. Let's go ahead and break down this Raw report, though, Andy.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
So, of course, the Emmys. We're talking about the Emmys and the snubs and the nominations. Congratulations in advance to them. They're talking about the Emmys and the ESPYs and all of these things. You guys know that writers normally, when we have award season, writers will normally be the ones who are there. They're writing all the behind the scenes, the jokes. They're putting all the stuff on the teleprompters. We just experienced that with BET. There was no host. There were no writers. So it was sort of hosted by the people. We're going to see what happens with the Emmys and the ESPYs and all that stuff, and just kind of, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Andy?
I know there was a lot of criticism with the BET Awards, right? Mm-hmm. But looking back at it, I think the BET Awards was actually great in my opinion, because to me, it was a big concert. And the celebration was the 50 years in hip hop. I mean, they went all across America. Yeah. They hit the West Coast, they hit down south, East Coast and whatnot. They went all the way to the early days in the 80s, all the way until now. So, despite the fact that they didn't really have a true host or any writers, I will say, although the BET Awards did get some criticism, I still think it was still a good show. I agree with you. We talked about it briefly, Andy. I think we had to give them props because for you to be able to pull that type of thing off with no writers, right. I mean, you have to commend that. I mean, I just give them their flowers. I don't know how the Emmys are going to do it, though. I don't know how they're going to pull that one off. I guess we'll have to wait and see. There has been talk that it'll possibly be pushed back. We don't know. We're also going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg, who has an interesting stipulation in her will, something I've never heard. And O.J. Simpson, I've talked about this before. I don't like it when that man speaks, but he's speaking about something that you could very possibly be interested about. So we'll break those things down with our entertainment contributor of the day. When we come forward, you are inside the Raw report on. I told you it was a long day, y'all. You are inside the Raw report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw report.
You're inside the Raw report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm James Alexander, a proud member of AARP. 1967, I was 17. That spring, my friends, the Barcades, and I made Soulfinger. It was a hit. Number 3 on the charts. That summer, we became the great Otis Redding's band. First gig, the famed Apollo. That fall, we toured. That winter found me in a morgue identifying the bodies of my bandmates and Otis Redding. My music and their memories bring me joy. The Barcades forever.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? A joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black Joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/blackcommunity.
The $5 Cravings Box is back at Taco Bell, and it's the real thing. We're talking a Chalupa Supreme, a cheesy, beefy 5-layer burrito, a crunchy taco, cinnamon twist, and a medium drink, all for just $5. That's a lot of food for not a lot of dollars. In other words, a wise business deal, like greeting clients with a firm handshake and a delicious 3-course meal, that's only $5. Order your $5 Cravings Box on the Taco Bell app today. At limited participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for price and participation which vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Price excludes tax.
Shop end-of-season deals during the Truckload event at Lowe's. Right now, save on major appliances and get an additional 10% off in-store clearance appliances. Plus, take up to 70% off select vanities, like the Allen & Roth Vanity Combo. Was $1,399, now $409. Get great deals now. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/19. Exclusions apply. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Rob Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, I'm not here to do it by myself. I have Cheyenne Corinne, who is on the phone with me, our entertainment contributor of the day. You are very familiar with Cheyenne. I like to talk to Cheyenne on Thursdays because you give energy. And today I need the energy, Cheyenne. How are you today?
Hey, Robin. Listen, we are just so connected because tell me why, I live back and forth between D.C. and Philly. Today I came back to D.C. and I left my wallet in Philly.
Oh, no. I'm telling you, we have all these different connections. That is very interesting. Well, I hope you can have someone who sends you your wallet so you can feel complete. I won't feel complete until I get my whole purse back tomorrow.
Hopefully my mama. Hopefully she comes and saves the day.
Mamas always come through. So shout out to the moms. Okay, so Cheyenne, yes. I want to go ahead and get into this Emmy talk. I mean, there's a lot going on with the Emmy talk or whatever, and several people from what I read, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I haven't seen yet, but people are talking about the snubs. I guess we do this. We kind of have these conversations all the time during award season, specifically more of the Oscars talk and the Emmys and things like that. People really seem to care about those things. They really do. And so I was taking a look at some of the headlines, and Damson Idris, very surprising, Damson Idris was not nominated. Snowfall, does that surprise you at all?
It does, but then at the same time, it doesn't. Because one thing about me, I love Snowfall and I love Damson. I think that especially that last season and that last episode, even though he said, he was tapping in with the devil, that may be why he didn't get this nomination. You playing around with the devil, child, that comes back to you. But,
yeah.
Aside from that, I'm unfortunately not surprised because I sometimes feel like those shows, for instance, I think a similar thing happened with The Wire. These shows that really, cater or appeal a lot to the Black community, I think that those roles are often overlooked and unappreciated. So unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but I actually am really, really disappointed because I really think that he did a great job.
I agree. Andy, do you want to chime in on this, Andy?
Nah, man, Cheyenne said exactly what I was going to say. The reason why he ain't nominated is because this man worshiping the devil. Straight up. You don't play with that type of stuff. I mean,
you think that's the sole reason?
Hey, man, don't play with them spirits, man.
Okay.
Don't play with the spirits. Nope. We heard it from Cheyenne and Andy. I don't know if I don't know. I mean, who's to say if, this man was not nominated or Snowfall simply because he talked about tapping in with the devil. Let's give him a break. Let's give him a little bit of grace. He was trying to do his job well. And he said, I mean, according to him, he was like, that was no joke. I'm never going to try to do that again. So he learned his lesson. We don't know. I agree more with what you said in terms of Black people, Black shows, that sort of content not getting as much recognition. If it's not mainstream, and that's an FX show. Snowfall is on FX, but I don't know, maybe if it were on a more prime time network or something like that, which don't sleep. FX is a really big network, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Like if it were on more of a prime time network, then maybe it would get more recognition. I'm not sure. I just feel like sometimes these things get overlooked because whereas we're looking at Sheryl Lee Ralph and Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, that is on ABC. And here we are. I mean, granted, they are two completely different shows. I get it. I understand. But, here they are just all of a sudden. Abbott Elementary is killing the game. Everybody is talking about them. And so, but then again, it's on a huge network. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. Maybe not necessarily it being a Black show or Black content. It's just in my opinion. What do you think about that?
And kind of going off that, with you saying Abbott Elementary, it also made me think of, how do I say this? I feel like sometimes our acting and our art is so much better perceived when it's comedy and we're being funny. And that can go back historically. Rather than when it's like a serious role. I think that it's hard for, mainstream to take, Black artists seriously when they're playing these more serious roles, rather than, when we're being jokey and light and all of that stuff, because I think that that's kind of what they expect from us and like from us. But I do think it's really hard for Black actors to be seen as like legitimate, Hollywood actors sometimes. But I feel like Damson, I think that he still has some time. He's been getting more roles. But I can just imagine that this is just like, man, like this Snowfall was just great work. And I also feel like this is just, a diss to because now Snowfall is done. It's not like there's another season.
Right, he doesn't have
now be nominated.
You're right. There's no more shots
for
Snowfall. Yeah. Forrest Harrison says, what about Snowfall? I mean, yeah, that's what we're talking about. What about Snowfall? The fact that will no longer get any recognition. Pretty Brown Mimi says Hollywood likes safe Black shows like comedies. I feel like, okay, I think that's true. It's almost comfortable when we can be comedic and sort of put everybody at ease versus but I guess the distinction that I'm trying to make is Denzel Washington, for instance. Denzel came up through the ranks and is an incredible actor. Obviously, everybody looks to Denzel and they say, I want to be just like Denzel. I want to act like Denzel. And that's great. But if you put Damson Idris next to a Denzel, the only real thing that Damson Idris has to do is prove his time in Hollywood. But he's a thespian. He is a real life serious actor. He's studied in it, and if he can't win for Snowfall, what can he win? What can he be nominated for? You see what I'm saying? So unless it's a slavery movie or it's somebody like Will Smith or Denzel, I feel like I'm just not sure why they won't take that type of content seriously. I'm just not sure about it. Another snub was J. Alphonse from P-Valley. P-Valley, unfortunately, he has gotten a lot of love inside the Black community, a ton of love in the Black community. But unfortunately, that's one of those shows, again, that I'm not sure if the powers that be inside, whoever's on the committee of the Emmys, I don't know if that's open. I don't know what that looks like behind the scenes, but whoever's on that board is not taking that show very seriously like we are within the Black community. Do you feel like he was snubbed, or does he have more work to do in your eyes?
That's a hard one, because I do feel like he played that role really, really, really well. And now we're talking about not only a Black show, but also, like a LGBTQ plus show. So that's a whole nother burden on top of it.
Yep.
But I don't know if he's quite yet ready for an Emmy performance yet. I do think that he really, really played that role, and I think that he deserves recognition, and I think that, he definitely did receive a lot of recognition. I'm not sure if it was to that level, though, to be fair.
I can hear that. I think he does have a lot of work to do, but I agree with you as well. He did an incredible job with that role that he's given, and it's still coming back. P-Valley, I believe, is season 3, will come back. And I like how he's handling it, though. He has done several different appearances on different talk shows. I think he even got very emotional when he was a guest appearance on Tamron Hall's show, and he was just so grateful to be received for the work that he's doing. He plays a gay man who is not gay in real life. He has a fiance, a wife in real life. He has a whole family. He does his thing. He does a wonderful job. He takes it very, very seriously. And he is just so incredibly grateful to be received by the community and to do work that he enjoys. So I believe that if you handle it that way, just keep working. Put your head down, keep working, and don't look for the accolades of Hollywood, because it may never come, or it may come in a very long time, just like I was just talking about with Jasmine Guy, who played Whitley in Different World. She's just now getting her flowers when it comes, and it's just a nomination. I'm not saying just a nomination to try to undermine what it is, because that's a big deal. I'm just saying it wasn't the win yet. It's just a nomination, and she's just now getting that for her Chronicles of Jessica Wu. And so congratulations to her. But again, it could take a very long time to achieve that type of recognition. Like I mentioned before, Cheryl Lee Ralph and Janelle James nominated for Abbott Elementary. Good for them. I hope that they continue to pave the way and open up doors for other people and other women of color who are coming behind them. So good for them. I applaud it all.
Absolutely.
Are you an Emmys watcher?
I am an Emmys watcher. I love the Emmys. I mean, one of my goals one day is to win an Emmy, because we also have Emmys for broadcast journalists. And, so this is definitely like personal for me, because I haven't been nominated yet. I definitely know it will come one day, but I know there's plenty of journalists. We just had our ceremony here in D.C. that felt, quote unquote, snubbed. But I think it's all about what you said, just waiting until it's your time, continuing to go. And I think that's why it's important to love what you do, because, the accolades are nice, but, you really do your art not for that reason. You do your art, to impact people. So I just think that it's important, with all these accolades. Of course, it's a big thing, but, just to stay grounded and wait for your time.
Yeah. Speaking of the Emmys, and I love what you said there, and I'll take my notes from you, Cheyenne, because I don't watch any award shows anymore. I just don't. I really don't get involved in any of it. I sort of get the highlights afterwards and see what was good, what are people talking about. But speaking of award shows, the ESPYs, Sha'Carri Richardson, we know as a track and field athlete, she is the queen right now. Everybody's talking about broken records at this point. She also made huge headlines just a couple of years ago, if we all remember, that she was disqualified from running for being tested positive for marijuana. And at that time, everybody was rooting for her. Everybody was behind her. Everybody was sending her invitations to appear, whether it be the ESPYs or any other award shows. She was everywhere because we all loved her. We loved to get behind the underdog, right? Well, Sha'Carri Richardson is speaking up right now. She says, the ESPYs invited me when my life was in shambles, as if I was a charity case. The disrespect that track and field receives in the USA alone is nasty. Half of the athletes there now could not do what we do on our worst day. And she's making this comment because she was not invited to the ESPYs. very interesting take on it. Do you think that there's some truth to that, or is that her just being in her own feelings because she wasn't invited this year?
I think that there's definitely some truth to that, and I think that is very, very bizarre, too, especially because she actually just won one of her first, the distance race not too long ago. But also, I think there's some truth. You know, they invited her when she was kind of in this low point. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone was talking about her. And now when we're really seeing her, you know, really grow into herself, now she's not invited to, like, really the biggest sports ceremony of the year. And I think that she's definitely, you know, one of those names when you think of track and field that at this point, you know, comes up. So I think it definitely was very, very strange that she was not invited. And I think that it either was a mistake or that it was definitely a blatant reason for why she was not invited.
Absolutely. Well, I have this to say. Andy wants to go ahead and say something. Go ahead, Andy.
Real quick. I think, you know, when she got invited the last time, I mean, she was popping.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about the ESPY Awards, they celebrate the past year. Mm-hmm. So within the past year, Sha'Carri Richardson didn't really make noise.
That's
until fairly recently.
That is true.
So I think she probably just missed that cut. Next year, expect an invitation.
Okay, Andy, breaking it down for us. Okay.
Well,
yeah. Okay. Well, I digress on that point. I agree. I don't know much about the process of how they do the invitations or whatnot. I will say, though, that she just came back on the scene. She actually says, "I'm not back. I'm better." And I love that this. There's a little clip of her that's circulating right now. We see her throwing her wig off, getting ready to run. I mean, she's doing all the stuff. She's doing the Sha'Carri Richardson stuff that we love. But like Andy said, we will wait to see what happens next year at the ESPYs. We will all. I'm going to get my notes from you, Andy. I'm going to get my notes from you, Cheyenne. So y'all got work to do when it comes to these award shows. But listen.
Got you.
Yes, exactly. I know you do. Right now we got news, traffic, and sports. And when we come forward, we will get to the rest of our topics with our entertainment contributor, Cheyenne Corinne. On the other side, you are listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Lil Rel Howery. Right now, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. That's right. The Raw Report.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Officials say 24 unmarked graves believed to be connected to the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre have been unearthed. A 2-day test excavation is scheduled for today and tomorrow at Tulsa's Oak Lawn Cemetery. An estimated 300 black people were killed when the Greenwood neighborhood known as Black Wall Street was burned down by a white mob. Vice President Kamala Harris is returning to Chicago, Illinois this month. The Sun-Times reports the VP will be stopping in the city on July 24th to headline a fundraiser for the Biden-Harris ticket and the Democratic National Committee. More events will likely be added during her visit. Hollywood actors are expected to go on strike. SAG-AFTRA wants more compensation and safeguards against the use of artificial intelligence. Actors will join Hollywood writers who have been on strike for nearly 2.5 months. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
In Anaheim Hills, 241 North to the 91 East connector. Got a report of a crash involving a big rig. It is over on the right shoulder, but it's a slow ride because there's only 2 lanes making that transition. In Cerritos, 91 westbound of Pioneer Boulevard, got a report of a brush fire over on the shoulder. And on the 105 westbound, as you're coming up on Vermont Avenue, got a report of a disabled vehicle trying to make its way to the shoulder.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Uninterrupted Film Festival is happening today at Newhouse Hollywood. The unique festival is showcasing 2 sports movies produced by athletes, including LeBron James. One of the films is Black Ice, a film produced by LeBron's Spring Hill Company. The movie profiles the struggles and achievements of black hockey players in the U.S. and around the world. Black Ice opens in theaters tomorrow. The other movie is Goliath, a film about Lakers legend Will Chamberlain Chamberlain. This film was produced by Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett and will debut on Showtime next week. The All-Star break is almost over for the Dodgers. They begin the second half of the season tomorrow with a 9-game road trip that starts in New York against the Mets. The Dodgers ended the first half with a 4-game winning streak. They're in first place in the NL West by a half game ahead of Arizona. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Black Lives Matters turns 10, and KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to be the exclusive media partner of the People's Justice Festival. This Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. in Leimert Park. Come join us as we celebrate the life-saving and history-making work of Black Lives Matter to help bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. There will be live music performances, a children's village, giveaways, vendors, a healing justice space, Skillshare, and amazing speakers including Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Cornel West, live on stage at 4:30 p.m. For more information, go to blmgrassroots.org. That's www.blmgrassroots.org. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley will be main stage hosts throughout the day, and the KBLA Talk 1580 delegation will be out in full force. So, join us this Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. at Leimert Park as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Black Lives Matter. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Nappy head, rooted.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Need a fresh start? LADWP income qualified customers can get up to $15,000 tax-free to pay overdue water utility bills with the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program. Benefit amounts may vary and will not impact other benefits. Visit ladwp.com/cares and apply today. That's ladwp.com/cares.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take. And when I left the Evan-On, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan. Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, another soul on soul. Yeah, production. Yeah. I stay soaked in foreign colognes. I keep dipped. Coogee sweaters hand knit, cause that's that fly shit.
I wish I could see Andy just grooving in there. Yeah, Andy. You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. If you're just joining us, welcome. And we are just having a good conversation about the Emmys. I don't watch the Emmys. I don't really get down with any of the award shows. I'm not alone on this. I see you guys over in the YouTube chat saying I'm not watching it. Mimi says it's just too long, 4 hours long. Penny Thompson, she says she watched Avatar. Well, no, you said okay. Avatar was longer. Mimi, Avatar was over 3 hours long, and I enjoyed it better than the Oscars, she says. Well, I will get my notes from all of you, okay? So that's a deal. Let's go ahead and bring our entertainment contributor back in here, Cheyenne Corinne. Cheyenne, hey, tell me this, Cheyenne. You don't have children yet. You are,
No.
Yeah, I know you love all of our kids, though, so that works for now. Yeah, so
yes, I have many nieces and nephews. I am tired.
You are tired, girl. Join the crew. Here's what's interesting though. When you know, as a parent, you start thinking about your wills and your trust and you know all of those things that are important when you want to I don't know why, you know, it's just at some point in life, you just start thinking about all of those things, of course, when you have children or when you start thinking about what you want to leave behind. Well, Whoopi Goldberg is talking about what she wants to leave, where she has a stipulation in her will. And it's not what she wants to leave. It's what she doesn't want to leave. She says, I don't want anybody to use me as a hologram. Whoopi Goldberg says, do not use me. She said it is in her will. It has been there for 15 years that she does not want anybody to use a hologram of her because it's kind of freaky. It's kind of like weird. And we've seen it time and time again. It's almost eerie. I remember the very first time I had even heard of the idea. I know they've done it with Tupac. They've done it with Whitney Houston. Real life performances using a hologram that makes you feel like you are really watching these people in real life. It's just a 3D sort of situation. Whoopi is like, listen, let me rest in peace. Let me rest in peace. Okay, Whoopi, I get it. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know if she's the only one who's made that stipulation, but so far she's the only one that I've heard of. I want to know your thoughts on it, Cheyenne.
I agree, because sometimes when I see this stuff done, I'm like, did this person, want to be recreated like this?
Yeah.
Because it is a little creepy. Like, I think that it is scary. And people, may just want to rest in peace. I mean, that's what it's
literally
called.
Yes.
And you bringing these people back up. So I'm not important enough for somebody to do that for me. But if I was, then I would maybe be like, hey, can you, not do this? Like, I just am getting freaked out. Like, even this, like, AI stuff of, like, I'm just like, we are really taking things way too far. Like, let's just, stay in reality and where we are.
I hear you. We've had this conversation about AI. We continue to have this conversation about artificial intelligence, and that, of course, is a form of it. And some people, they just don't want any parts of it. Marcus Atkins says holograms were the start of the end of human intelligence. Wow. That's an interesting point. Yeah, how far will we take it, and who wants to be involved in that, even when they're gone? She says that. I don't know if that holds up. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe that'll actually hold up as a stipulation that she's put in her will. We'll see. But I don't think anybody. I don't see any remakes of a movie that she's been with anybody using her as a hologram. At least I hope not. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about this O.J. Simpson thing. It's not a secret. People know. I don't like it when O.J. Simpson starts to talk. I think that he says a lot of nonsense, and sometimes I think it's just to maintain his relevancy. But O.J. Simpson is talking right now, and actually this time I don't know. I hadn't put too much thought into it, but he doesn't bother me with what he's saying. Andy, we have a clip of what he's talking about in terms of the transgender sports talk. And, since he's a former athlete, he feels like he can weigh in on this topic. So let's hear what O.J. Simpson has to say.
Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Well, there's a subject that I've tried to stay out of, but here lately it's hard to avoid. I saw Megan Rapinoe said that she would love to be competing against transgender women, and look, I'm all for it. I think, yeah, you be whatever you want to be. To me, it doesn't really matter. I remember years ago when I was a tennis player and I saw Dr. Renee Richards compete. Here was a person in their 40s that transgender, and the courts ruled that she could compete. And, hey, she was pretty good. She didn't win any major tournaments. I think she got to a finals of a doubles once, and I think she got to the third round of a singles. But let's face the fact, even though she was in her 40s and never a great tennis player, being a biological male, she was able to do pretty well against the women back then. I see the girl.
All right. Well, he goes on more, but I think we've heard the point. Forrest Harrison. Okay, Forrest Harrison over in YouTube. I see your comment. Listen, I've had thoughts about this. I haven't, thought too deeply into it, but because I'm not in sports, it doesn't necessarily affect me. I do have an opinion about it, though. I feel like people make a good point. If you are biologically born a male, typically you would think things are stronger. They even say it's reported, it's been fact checked that the heart is bigger. You're stronger. You have, stronger tendons and muscles and all kinds of things. So to go up and play against biologically born women, it's an unfair matchup. But they're saying, as a transgender, if I'm a woman and I identify as that, I should be able to play as a woman. This opens up a whole conversation that I'm sorry we didn't talk about this first, Cheyenne, because I know it could go a little bit deep. But give me just off top, what do you think about what OJ is saying, and if you even agree or disagree with it?
I feel like this is a topic. I just need more research to support it. I have to really see, is this really a widespread thing happening? And, it doesn't seem to really be widespread that this is even something that is happening. And, I really feel like we're hearing from a lot of people, but we're not really hearing from, women athletes. And I think that kind of says a lot, because myself, I played soccer for 20 years. I actually just stopped playing soccer competitively. And I used to play with the boys. I played co-ed a lot. And when I was injured, I broke my sternum once. That was me playing with the girls. So I think it depends. I just need more evidence that, there is an unfair advantage, because myself playing co-ed soccer, we were keeping up with the boys and stuff. So I think that that's one thing. And I just hope that people don't, I sometimes feel like people use opportunities like this just to spew their further transphobia, because I'm you're probably not hearing women athletes talking that much about it because they're more worried about the wage gap and them getting paid no money. I think if you ask both of them what's the biggest issue with women's sports, it would be that, not this issue. So I just hope that, when people feel strongly about this, they also are speaking up about the many issues that women athletes go through that actually are pervasive.
It feels like the slant is more towards transgender women that want to play in women's sports because they were born a male. It feels like that people have more of a problem with that because you have stronger, faster people who are playing with women. We don't hear too much about women trying to play in sports with men. That has been a thing. People will say, if you are a transgender male, you were born a female, and you want to play with men. I don't hear so much about that. I agree with you, though, that I think we need more. That's what all of this is about, by the way. It is to get more information, to have more understanding so that we can weigh in on it, or just not even have an opinion about it, but just to understand, because it's going on in our world. It's happening every single day. This happens. This affects many people. And for those of us who sit on the outsides and we just don't understand, we need more information about it. Marcus Atkins says, I recall Billie Jean King played against a biological man in the 1970s in a battle of the sexes tennis tournament. And it was a big deal on gender playing each other. I hear that. I never saw that. I just wish I had more information on it, but I
know.
Yeah, I will say this though, it didn't bother me to hear O.J. Simpson weighing in on this because it's something that he knows about, he has an opinion about. I usually want to tell O.J. to sit down and sit down, like Pretty Brown. Yeah, right. Pretty Brown Mimi says, enjoy your pension and have a seat. That's what I be wanting to tell O.J. Simpson sometimes.
Oh my God! Like seriously, I would be silent. You would never hear from me.
He didn't get the memo though. Andy wants to say something about. Okay, go ahead, Andy.
Okay, outside of the whole transgender aspect of it, do you want to see WNBA players go against NBA players?
I think it would be interesting. I don't know that that's an actual sport, but I think it would be interesting.
I would. Like, I'm telling you, I like playing soccer with the dudes and now men. Like, I played co-ed like up until like last year. That's fun. Like, and we really are good competition between the two, especially if you mix it up too. Like, not just like, you know, boys against girls, but you know, with, like co-ed soccer means that each team is like split.
You know, Shaquille O'Neal made a point about this once. He said that women's basketball would be a lot more interesting if they lowered the net. And he said that's the only thing that makes them not appealing to watch as much as men playing basketball is that they're not able to dunk. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I love to hear athletes talking about what the answers are. You know, or just weighing in. I love to hear that because me sitting out here, yeah, sure, I can tell you as a fan of watching certain sports what I'd like to see or what I would think is interesting. But people who know the game, people who have, you know, a say in it, they have a vested interest in it, I'd like to hear that. I like, you know, when he said that, I was like, it made me think a little bit more. So, but I think it would be interesting as like, you know, the All-Star games. Get the men and the women out there. Let's see what happens. But she would have to have some thick skin. Don't be going out there crying if you get, you know, hit, you know, knocked out a little bit.
So I will say that not the actual All-Star game, but they have like little bootleg games in preparation for the All-Star game where the WNBA players do mix in with the NBA players.
Yeah.
But see, my only concern with the WNBA and the NBA coming together is, let's say you did have a Shaq still playing, and he backed up, turned around and dunked on Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned that people will be like, oh my gosh, she was too physical with her, this, that, and the third.
Because she's a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And you will have some of those.
I'm like picturing that and just cracking up.
Yeah, I'm picturing it and I'm happy to look at it. Like I envision it. I can see it. I like it. Because I say don't complain about it. If you don't complain, sign this here waiver that says you won't complain if you are a woman
like
getting in the game.
Needs a little mix up.
Make it a little interesting.
Been so predictable lately. Like whatever you watch, like sports has just been so predictable. We need a little switch up.
A little razzle dazzle with it. Thomas Outlaw says, I think WNBA players should play in 3-point contests against men. Penny Thompson says trans should play together in their own league to make it fair. And that's a good idea. A forensic accountant says Marcus Atkins, Arthur Ashe was approached, but he didn't want the lynch mob heat that surely would have followed. Oh, joking. Okay, I see. Thomas Outlaw, maybe 3-point and skills contest in the ASG weekends. All-Star Games weekend. Thank you so much for the breakdown. Cheyenne, Corinne, as always, it is lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to talking to you next week as well. I hope you have your wallet by then. I'm sure you will.
I hope so. Thank you.
I definitely appreciate you. Okay, have a good night.
Bye.
When we come forward, we've got it's a very relaxing Who's Got Next. I chose wisely today. You know, Who's Got Next and what not to miss on the other side. You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. a new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the stars ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? We might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention. Because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know, y'all are still going off in this in the YouTube. Penny Thompson says, Andy, what makes you think Britney wouldn't dunk on Shaq? Ooh.
Point taken.
Point taken. Absolutely. And Marcus he says a battle between Ash and King would have been epic. Absolutely. I agree. This all could be very interesting. You know, who's gonna come up with something like that, like a one-off kind of game during the NBA All-Star weekend?
I will say that is probably the solution to the NBA All-Star game, because they don't even play hard in the All-Star game nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
So if we had the All-Stars of the NBA against the All-Stars of the WNBA.
I like that.
That'd be interesting.
That's just a weekend of watching. Yeah, I like that. I think I could get with that. All right, let's get with this. This is Who's Got Next. This came from someone's suggestion on my Instagram, so shout out to you guys, whoever let me know about this guy. His name is Jay Will, and he's a gospel singer. This song is called Greater, featuring JoJo Martin.
Greater than anything I ever know. Our Father who sits on a heavenly throne, seated in majesty, all of our praise is due. You're great in glory, there's no one quite like you. Our God is greater, greater. greater. You're my one and true heart's desire. Yeah. Oh.
Come on, JoJo.
Great is the one who has all power. Great is the one who gave his only son. Great is he who sits at the right hand of God. Great is, oh, our God is greater, greater, seated in majesty, worthy of glory you are.
Wow. Jay Will. My goodness. Jay Will. That song is called Greater, featuring JoJo Martin. You guys are giving it a thumbs up. Penny Thompson says praise, worth song. Yeah, absolutely. Marcus says very soothing, Christian inspirational song. Forrest gives it a 2 thumbs up. I agree with you guys. What I do not want you to miss, it is Quincy Jones's 90th birthday tribute. Wow. A musical celebration that's happening at the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. And that's going to be July 28th through the 29th. Y'all want to show up. Let me tell you, Jennifer Hudson and Patty, not Patty LaBelle, it's Patty Austin. But Patty Austin, I'm sure you're great. George Benson, we know George Benson. All of these fantastic people. It's just something you want to check out. July 28th through 29th at the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. Quincy Jones's 90th birthday celebration. Go ahead and check that out. It's been a great show. Thank you to Cheyenne Corinne for calling in today. Definitely appreciate you guys and the energy over in our YouTube chat. Tomorrow is Friday. You know what that means. More energy coming. But when we come forward, you will hear Zoe Williams and the voice of reason. His topic today is a deeper look at the dark side of loyalty. Woo! Anyway, guys, my name is Robin Ayers. Remember today and every day forward to be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. There's still no sign of escaped prisoner Michael Burham after a week-long hunt for the dangerous fugitive. Officials say the homicide suspect, who was said to have survival